What fighters should do. When we fight, guys like me, Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Oscar De La Hoya, we take a percentage. They automatically take a percentage. Boom. But it's not necessarily for us. It's not for us. It's for the less fortunate guys than us. We're not going to be messed up. We look pretty good now. You know, Oscar, me, and these guys. But for the other guys, you know what I mean? We got guys to take care of us, but they're not fortunate to have the big time executives to take care of us and watch their money like we do. So we should take a percentage of our money for those guys.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Jacob Stitch Duran.
Got so Mike Tyson before he got his tattoo. So the question I asked Mike is how do we take care of these fighters? How do we give back to these fighters, right? Here's Mike's statement right there. Let me see here. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see here. Yeah, see, there's Mike's right there. Watch. This is what fighters should do. Can you hear it? We fight guys like me.
A little bit.
Oscar De La Hoya. We take a percentage. They automatically take a percentage. But it's not necessarily for us. Not for us. It's for the less fortunate guys because we're not going to be messed up. We look pretty good now. So Oscar, me, and they got. For the other guys, we got to take care of it. But they're not fortunate to have the big time executives to take care of us and watch their money like we do. So we should take a percentage of our money for those guys. So he's saying, and it's true because, that time the pension plans, the insurance, the managers, all that it was an issue then. Bro, as I look at this film, it's an issue now. Nothing has ever been done. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to, now let me see here. There's old Mike right there. Yep. Before he got his tattoo, right? Yeah. And so I'm on a mission to kind of get this word out and see what we could do to help these fighters. It's a shame that nothing has ever been done. But yeah, so Mike gave me that, and then a couple of weeks later, he comes back. He has tattoos.
What did you think when he comes back? He's got this massive tattoo on his face. What are your thoughts?
You can't question Mike Tyson, man. At that point, he was at the highest point of his career, right? But what was funny is Mike would always have a caravan of cars going to the gym, 3, 4, 5 cars. And, in Vegas in the summertime, it gets hot, right? But they would leave his car running while he's training for 2 hours so that it could be cold when he gets in the car. All they had to do was wait 5 minutes before he got out there, right? But one guy would carry a bag in and one guy would take his clothes out, folded, and he had such an entourage, man. And but Mike was Mike, man, and great guy.
Yeah, Don King with him back then. This is what
fighters should do.
Well, that's another segment. And when we get off the air, send me your email. I'll send you the video. You can take a look at it. But Mike says in another segment, he goes, because I said, what can we do to take care of these young fighters? He goes, look, get them a clergy, get them so and so, someone that knows. He goes, look at me. I got ripped off for over $100 million. And what do you tell your family? What do you tell your wife? Because that's what makes a fighter punch strong statements like this, bro. So I am gonna. What I want to do is some of these clips that I've got, these interviews, which are tremendous from these legends, is use those on today's status with new interviews with new people because nothing's changed. Dementia pugilistica is a big issue, still an issue. Now it affects MMA. Contracts, that's an issue. Pay grade, that's an issue. CTE, yeah, that's dementia. Yeah, all that is an issue. And we talked about everything. Everything we talked about, all these.
Back then. All that back then. That's all the same. And there's nothing in place to even help the fighter.
No, nothing at all. Nothing has ever changed. And now it affects MMA. You talk about these fighters that are complaining. Now, every major sport, they go with a 50-50 split on money, right? The UFC is at 13%, so they're getting real screwed on that, and but nothing's ever been changed, and guys will stay there because it's the UFC, nothing more. But
it's the name. Yeah, the name.
But exactly. But on business, it's it's not fair.
It really isn't. So there was one fight that you were the cut man for Mike Tyson, I believe, and he's seen the blood on the ground, and you're like, "Don't worry, Mike, that's his blood," right?
No. I worked against Mike Tyson. I worked against Tyson when he fought Francois Botha, and but no, there was I've had other guys. No, that's not your blood. That was no, that was Kenny Florian when he fought. God, who fought? I can't remember who he fought. Sean Shirk. And Kenny Florian's on the bottom, or Sean Shirk's on the bottom, and Kenny's hitting him with elbows, and he slices him, and or he's up like this, but Kenny's on the bottom, and all Sean Shirk's blood is falling on Kenny, and to the point where he comes to the corner, and I'm cleaning him up. I'm looking for a cut, and that's no good. That's Sean's cut, and I
really was his blood.
Yeah, it was Sean Shirk's. It was Sean Shirk's, but he was just loaded, and I told him that was it. And I saw Kenny about 2-3 months ago. We brought that story up.
So you have a really strong stomach, man. Like if it was me, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it.
Nah, Stack. There was the bloodiest fight I ever worked with, Jonathan Goulet against. That was that. Anyway, this was Jay Haran. And same thing, that big vein we have right here. Well, Jonathan Goulet gave him an elbow, and the cut was maybe about this big, but it's here. But it severed that vein, and it bled like a pig. And that's one that's tough to stop, real tough. But Jay had blood from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet, and there was so much blood that I got nauseated. It's the only time I've ever got nauseated. And the bloodiest fight ever in the mat is at Randy Couture's gym, and Jay Haran is so happy with that he's part of that legacy.
And shout out to Randy Couture, great guy.
Yeah, I love Randy, man. Good man.
So are they not allowed to put tape on like a butterfly stitch or something if there's a massive wound? There's none of that?
No, but that time that I went to Kiev, when the Soviet Union first broke, 1991, 92, but the show was December the 2nd, the 12th. The Kiev or Ukraine had their first professional fights there, so we took a team of professional boxers and kickboxers to Kiev, and this one guy had got cut, and now all of a sudden you see it look like a bicycle patch, black one. Not till the referee, you can't do that. You can't put stuff on them. So they made him take it off. Yeah.
So if you have any kind of cut on I don't think people know that. Like if you have any kind of cut, you can only put what are the tools that you're able to use to stop the bleeding and the cuts?
That's a good question. The primary medication, the one that you see guys on the swabs, that's adrenaline chloride 1/1000, and that's a vasoconstrictor. So as you see me when I work on a cut, Stack, I'll pinch it, and because all those little veins that you have, when you pinch it, you literally clear them out of the blood at the end of the veins. So once you put the swab on it, it will absorb into the veins, and in theory, it'll close the veins. That's the adrenaline chloride 1/1000. There's a Avitine and Thrombin are coagulants, but I don't use them. They're very hard. The Avitine, last time I used it was Forrest Griffith when he fought Shogun, and he ended up with that big old cut that's on the face of the second video. And so the Avitine is my wife described it best. It's like a cotton candy type of texture. It's very hard to work with, but I got it and I rolled it up and I put it in the cut and I sealed it, and he ended up winning the fight. So that's a coagulant, but very hard to work with.
They don't use, like the military has that stuff they pour into gunshot wounds, right? To coagulate the blood.
You can't use that. There's Thrombin is another coagulant, and then there's a gauze pad called Quick Aid that's made out of 100% seaweed. It's seaweed based, and it's 100% natural, so it doesn't require a prescription. The other three require a prescription, and the adrenaline now is like $300 a bottle. But no, that those with the gunshot wounds in the military and all that, a lot of that has a sulfuric base and it'll burn the tissue. And I had one guy, if you remember Livingstone Bramble, we fought in upstate New York, and this guy ended up with a big old cut here, and next thing I know, it's not bleeding. And Tony Martin, I think is his name, and Tony Martell. And I saw him a couple of years later in Las Vegas, and I asked him about that cut. And he said, man, I had to go, the doctors had to cut that tissue out because it burned, because it was a sulfuric base. And they cut that burnt tissue out and then resew it again. And that's why they outlaw that. That's why they don't let you use that. And some guys have always tried to bring their own secret herbs and spices, but it's stupid. Stupid. You know?
Yeah, because if they get caught doing stuff that using things they're not supposed to use, they get banned, right?
Well, not even that. It's stupid to use on a fighter. You know,
yeah.
that's number one. Let's get to the heart of the matter. You know, why would you want to burn tissue on a fighter? You know, it's because they don't know. Let me explain again. Also, Staxx, is our sport, combat sports. We are the only major sports where none of us have to be certified to be called professional. None of us. You pick up a towel and $50 and you're a pro.
Professional.
Yeah. So
it's wild.
It's crazy, huh?
I need a job, UFC professional.
Hey, listen, I get requests all the time from people that want to be cutmen, and you know, doctors, paramedics, nurses, EMTs. I got a young kid yesterday from high school that wants to be a cutman, but I tell them, I tell every one of them, look, you got to spend hours and days and weeks and months and years in the gym, working with these fighters, being a fighter, understanding the pain, the psychological aspects, you know, learn how to wrap hands at your own cost and get their confidence and start working corners and then, you know, start working on cuts, but you just don't walk into it.
Yeah, like I think a lot of people see where you're at, the level you're at, and they're like, that's cool. That looks cool. Yeah. I want to do that. But they don't see the dedication, hard work, the money you put into it, everything, all the sacrifices you've made because you're away from your family. You're not, you know, like.
Yeah, good point, man. I had this kid yesterday said, you know, I'm looking for a career. And I said, well, a cutman's not a career. I'm probably one of the very few that could say I do this full time, you know. And I said, you have to have a passion for this. Not you do it for the money, you do it for the wrong reasons because you're not going to make no money.
Yeah, I don't make money doing this, doing interviews. I pay money to do all this, buying equipment, doing this, sacrificing time. This is my 9 to 5, and I don't get paid for it. I'm trying, you know. Eventually, the money will come.
That's the point. I just did an interview Friday actually at the Benavides Andre fight. This guy from Vancouver, Washington. I had done a podcast with him before. And I did an interview with him at the Mandalay Bay. But he says, I quit my job. He goes, my wife is mad at me. I quit my job and I flew over here. And, you know, even though, you know, I can't afford to do it, but I have to do it. And I told him, and I'm sure you've been through this. I said, look, I always tell these young people, you know, we're all scared. That line that in front of us, we're all scared to cross it. But if you don't cross it, you'll never get there.
What's up, everybody? This is Randy Couture, and I'm chatting with Staxx.